how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well. So, my name is Zach Fisher, and this is Ajay. What's your last name?
Ajay Kumar.
Kumar. Okay. And um, what does Ajay? What does Ajay mean? Is there like a special meaning to that name, or
That's a good question. The meaning of Ajay is somebody who is undefeatable,
okay?
somebody whom nobody can conquer.
Yeah.
So he is somebody who always wins. He never
Yeah.
loses. So that is derived from a language called Sanskrit in India.
Okay.
That's why my parents had given me that name of Ajay.
Yeah. Have you kind of taken some? I've heard somebody say, my grandpa told me this one time.
Mhm.
A rose by any other name would still smell as sweet.
Right.
However, I'm not 100% sure that's how it works with names, because I feel like you kind of embody your name.
Right.
So have you embodied your name to be the undefeatable type of thing? Or
I would be very candid with you.
yeah.
I was not doing it for past 25 years,
Okay.
but from last 4 years, I have been trying to leave the real meaning of my name.
Okay.
And it was year 2016 where I started kind of training my mind that I am undefeatable.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I started figuring out that I am somebody whom cannot be defeated, and that became my attitude towards life. So my attitude was pretty simple. Whatever you do, try to give your best, because I read a quote that had very deep impact, profound impact on me 4 years back, that when you are sleeping, somebody is awake,
Okay.
and when you meet that person after 1 year or 2 year, he will defeat you.
Yeah.
So you should not be sleeping, you should be aware all the time.
Yeah.
So that quote has a great impact on my personality, and that is where I realized that I have great potential to be the best. And if why to live a life of misery,
Mm-hmm.
when you have stupendous treasure hidden within you. That was a self call, I would say, to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started living the real name of my life,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to be better at it.
So living undefeatable.
That's right.
Yeah.
Trying to set my own benchmark,
Yeah.
just like competing, not competing with anybody, competing with myself.
Yeah.
I mean, not living on someone else's benchmark,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm sure you're also doing the same, right?
Yeah. I try to do that myself. I do things like, I like to do lots of activities like I like to do judo, and I like to run, and I feel like those external things that I do also kind of train myself to kind of beat it internally as well.
Right. Right.
So like, do you do anything specifically that you think what's your favorite thing to do, like to try and help you with that unbeatable type of
All
attitude?
right. That's a very good thought. Every morning,
Yeah.
when I get up early morning, I tell to myself that this is going to be an awesome day for you.
Yeah.
You are a winner. So what I do is get up early morning, get your running gears, and go for running. So running is something that was not coming naturally to me.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of practice, hard work, perseverance. So when I go for run every day, I fight with myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I conquer my fears. And the moment you finish your run, right, then you will get a feeling like I have achieved something.
Yeah.
After my workout every day, when I go to my office, I get the same attitude, like if I can nail this, I
Mm-hmm.
can nail other areas of life as well.
Yeah.
So I feel running is something that keeps me motivated, that gives me courage, that
Uh-huh.
I'm undefeatable.
Yeah.
Trying to learn from everybody, but at the same time have a good attitude towards life. That you have to do this. You have got
Mhm.
this. As you said, like you have judo, right?
Yeah.
I feel personally running and more of a public speaking.
Yeah.
That was kind of a greatest fear.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
everybody has that.
Yeah.
But that gives you like a lot of confidence towards life, right?
Yeah.
That you are trying to fight with yourself, stand in front of a crowd. Not everybody can do that, right? Because public speaking has been regarded as one of the greatest fear of life, right? Fear, it is more fearful than fear of death.
I was going to say the same thing. I had heard that there was a study that came out,
Right.
and public speaking was up there higher than death and people's fears. It was
Yes.
crazy.
Yes, what you do other than judo, to kind of make your personality undefeatable? I know that you have been doing a lot.
Yeah, man. I feel like the biggest way that I can kind of describe what I like to do is there's this term called a polymath. Do you know what a polymath is?
Oh, not. Can you explain
Okay,
that?
so have you heard of like what a Renaissance man is?
No.
Okay, so a Renaissance man, we went through the Renaissance, and there's these men like Leonardo da Vinci,
Oh, yes, I know.
Michelangelo, all these people, they tried to be great at multiple things.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Got you.
So, whereas I may not be the best person at judo, I try,
Got you.
and I try to diversify my interests because there was a study that came out and it said that, if you diversify your interests, then you can actually kind of be better at your main thing that you like to do. So
That's right.
yeah.
So, if I understand correctly, how about diversifying, like trying to be an all-rounder in all the areas of life?
Yeah.
That is what you were.
Yeah, being all around good. So I like to do lots of things like judo.
Yeah.
I like to do art. I like to run. We both run.
Yeah, we both run.
And then we
fast.
also both do a lot of public speaking.
A lot,
we're both-
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of public speaking.
Exactly. So I think more of trying to live an integrated life, right?
Yeah.
Having a holistic approach, correct? That not about our work area, right? We want to be great at everything we do, right? That is what you have been trying to do, right?
and also I think that those things that I do outside of work,
Right.
Public speaking is an obvious one, but also like even judo and running, like those principles can be carried over into my work. Do you feel like sometimes like that's the way it is for you?
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Sometimes, as we are in software industry, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like there are times where our programs are not working, where we had to spend a lot of time. So I feel like tenacity, there that you think that if I can do running, right?
Yeah.
Then if I am fighting with myself, I am fighting with myself, then I can do this, get this done.
Yeah.
And you keep pushing yourself all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel running has a great impact on my personality.
Oh, yeah.
And running and public speaking, it carries away. I mean, when people will see you, they recognize, they
Yeah.
can see that in your eyes that you have a lot of confidence. You have a lot of patience, confidence to achieve. So I feel like yes, running is something kind of therapy for me.
Yeah.
I would say
100%.
that is a builder.
Yeah.
That is something that keeps me motivating.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm 100% on that board, man. And I think that especially if you get up early and you run in the morning and then you go and do your job, like things seem fresher, things that seem less challenging because you've already gotten up and you've freaking gone out in the cold and run,
Got you.
So I don't know. I think the same thing. You're a software engineer. That's pretty cool.
Yes, I'm a software engineer.
Okay. And you work for Kroger, I think you said?
Yes, I work for Kroger Technology as a software engineer.
That's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
cool. Are you guys doing any kind of just major developments or anything like that in the industry, or?
Yes. My role is to do a lot of database development
Okay.
for Kroger.
Okay.
So as you know that Kroger is one of the renowned company of America, like
Oh yeah.
third largest in the retail
Yeah.
after Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they had got like billions and billions of customer, right?
Yeah.
And as a software engineer, it's my role to make their customer experience really seamless.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where we do a lot of programming on the database side. A lot of it's kind of developing a program. So for example, when you walk inside the Kroger, right, you get all your groceries. You will go to a billing counter. They will scan your items, and then what we do as a software engineer is we try to develop software for them.
Okay.
We do a lot of database programming. So if some customer is buying something, they have to get like the price for that UPC and item, right? They have to hit the database table, right? And that is where my roles comes in the picture.
So if I understand this correctly, your so Kroger has a database that they get information that they put the information in about each sale. So every time somebody rings something through,
Correct.
it goes into a database.
That's right. Let me explain you a little bit.
Okay.
That is one aspect of software. For
Okay.
example, we have, for example, let's say you are buying, you are a customer and a very loyal customer. So what we do is we provide loyalty cards to our customers. So for example, if you are buying in Kroger, right, for 6 months, Kroger tracks your spending habits.
Okay.
And then kind of gives you a loyalty card. So for example, you're buying a gas for your car, Tesla, what a beautiful car. Then what would be the discount for it, right? For example, if you have been purchasing gallons of gas from Kroger, right, then they can give you discount of 2 cents.
Okay, so then they specifically target their customers.
That's a kind of a part of it.
Okay.
First, like targeting the customer, targeting their sales, and then the second part is like where to keep the items in store, right?
Okay.
Because like if you have milk on the one side, right?
Yeah.
And if you are keeping bread together, right?
Wow.
Then so that's a concept called data mining. It's their business to keep one item at the one end of store. For example, maybe milk at the one end of the store and bread on the other end.
Yeah.
So you kind of walk all the way there, right? And then you buy other items.
Yeah.
So that is something called planogram, right? Space planning, how the space would be managed in the store. So that's the one area trying to target the customers. And then, for example, when you buy something, they will scan the item. What is the price of that item? That will be stored in the tables.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to it, but these are like the few.
Yeah.
These are the few things they do.
Yeah.
These are the few things we do as a software engineer for Kroger, and it's a rewarding experience. Making somebody happy.
It's crazy to think, in my opinion, that you just have such a huge quantity of information that's coming in.
That's
and
right.
then deriving any kind of business intelligence from that is just like, that seems like a pretty big job. Because like, how many Kroger, like there's I shop at Kroger, but Kroger has other brands underneath it. There's
that's right.
And then that data has to come in from each Kroger. How does that, do you know how that actually comes through the network into the actual database? Is that something complicated or?
Sure. As you said, like Kroger has a lot of subsidiaries. They acquire a lot of companies. For example, if you go 8451, if you are in Colorado, they have King Super. They have got King Super, DeLong's, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, then they have 23 companies altogether under one roof. And Kroger is the owner. So there is a lot of data. So sometimes it's difficult. Coming through the network, you can understand better. So sometimes there are a lot of third-party companies actually who design data models for them.
Yeah.
For example, 8451. That's a company for Kroger.
Okay.
That do a lot of cool stuff in data science. As you know, like data science is evolving nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to know which team is winning, right?
Yeah.
You want to drive a self-driving car. So that is where you take a lot of data and kind of do a lot of maths, apply a lot of algorithm.
Yeah.
That is one aspect of data science. That is where they do data mining, right?
Okay.
So when you pass those through the network, like I mean, as per my knowledge, they have companies, software companies for Kroger. They do that.
Okay.
Our job is just to take care of backend part,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of tables and making programs really really well for them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool.
What kind of job you do?
So yeah, I'm a systems engineer. So for Dell Technologies. So what I try to do is I try to help my customers as best I can. So I have one customer, it's GE, and mainly what I try and do is help them architect the best possible solutions that they can, given my tool set, which is pretty big.
Awesome.
And it's mainly for so you work on those databases,
Right.
and it gets housed possibly,
Right.
on my software / hardware, the storage on the back end. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it's fun, man.
It's
I
fun.
do like the IT industry, and I think that what's interesting is the more and more people who I meet around in the industry do have similar interests as me.
Oh yeah.
I had a conversation with a guy the other day, and he was just talking about all of these books that he read around, he was reading a book around one of these strategies that you do to get yourself to do something is you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm out of bed.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like the the interest. The more I talk to people, the more I see I think people who are drawn to this industry are also drawn to making themselves better.
Gotcha.
So do you have if you were, I know that you and we kind of talked about this before,
Right.
but you have lots of books that you read on that help you out. I think you mentioned
Right.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
That is correct.
If you could just recommend one single book that has kind of helped you the best, is there a book?
Yes. I would be glad to recommend you that book.
Yeah.
I can recommend 2 books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I feel those book has changed my life a lot.
Okay.
To be honest with you, one book is from David J. I don't remember the last name. The title of the book is Magic of Thinking Big,
Okay.
and it's a book written in 1920
Okay.
that has a profound impact on my personality.
Okay.
That is the one book I
The
would highlight.
Magic of Thinking Good. So
Magic of Thinking Big.
Oh, big.
Exactly.
Okay.
So,
what is that like? What has that shown up in your life, or have you been trying to specifically, what principles have you kind of tried to look for from it? I guess.
Exactly. That is a book that will teach you almost everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a whole package.
Okay.
From that book, what I learned is the best part about that book is if you think you can move mountain,
Okay.
you are right. If you think you cannot, you are absolutely right. So that book has got probably 16 chapters,
Yeah.
and that book will try to talk to you and
Yeah.
say that, hey, look, if you think you can make $1 million company, you can do that. If you think that you are capable enough, then your mind will give you thoughts. How to do it will come once you identify your purpose.
Yeah.
That's the power of that book. You always think big in your life, right? So that was a greatest learning for me. The second greatest learning was we all do have a lot of fears in our life, right? So kind of facing your fears, if you try to solve a problem on the same thinking it has got, right, then you cannot find a solution. You have to think one level up to
Mm-hmm.
solve that problem. I'll tell you what I did after learning that book.
So that this principle of um, solving a problem one level up.
Right.
I think that's interesting because, like, if you look at horse racing,
Right.
this is the kind of business and everything that we're in.
Exactly.
The winning horse wins by a nose.
Correct.
So if you can think
Right.
a nose better than everyone else,
Right.
and you can implement things just that much better,
Exactly.
it really, you're winning all of a sudden instead
Exactly.
of like fifth place.
Yeah, it tells you, that the only way to conquer fear is to take action.
Yeah.
You should. I will always, recommend you to read the second chapter of that book.
Yeah.
They call it as a failure disease.
Okay.
You'll be like, when you read that, you'll chuckle, inside. That's like, oh my god, these are the lamb excuses.
It's true.
We tell,
It's so true.
I let it, Jack. When I was reading that, I was able to relate. A lot of people, they give excuses
Yeah.
that I'm too young to do a business.
Yeah.
Public speaking is not my area. That is not my cup of coffee. The moment you say no to something, you are killing your potential,
Yeah.
right? I will tell one example. After reading that failure disease, I realized, oh my god, these are the lame excuses we give to ourselves. And I had co-worker in Kroger. They tell Ajay, tell me one thing. How you do this? You're reading and then you're writing. You're giving public speaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you are so much highly self-disciplined for your age, And then you read Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I do one thing which you don't do,
Uh-huh.
Then she was like, what? I said, like, you give a lot of excuses. I don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, it does
Right?
make sense.
And for example,
It
you can fool others, but you can't fool yourself,
Mhm.
right? So those were the two greatest learning, like taking actions to kind of fight against your fears, and then magic of thinking big.
Mhm.
That's a whole lot. There is a whole lot of principles, very practical, very very practical. How to be a good leader,
Mhm.
how to think big, how to dream big, how to think creative. For example, when you go somewhere, right? If you want to get a lot of respect, if you want that people will get mesmerized with you, then you have to take care of your attire. That was something I learned from that book. Like, if you have a fear of your personal appearance, then try to go to nice stores in the country and try to find some good blazers, right? And
Like a good store that we're in right now. That's
Yeah.
so vintage.
that's right.
But yeah.
So if I keep talking about that book,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think like we would be having enough time. But
Yeah.
that is a book that I feel like kind of Bible or a Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. Yeah.
For that book will tell you a power of a dream, power of your personality, how to be a good leader,
Yeah.
how to be a good public speaker.
Mhm.
That is the one book I think I can recommend to everybody, anybody and everybody who is looking for self development, who wants to do big in life.
And I'll put the books in the comments actually of
Yeah,
this video.
we will
so
do that.
Yeah.
And the second book you can read as a book from Dale Carnegie, that was written in 1930s.
Okay.
And that the name of the book is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
That book has like an immense impact on my personality. When I read that book, it gave me a process how to initiate conversation, how to make good friends,
Mhm.
how to make others important. For example, when you are talking to somebody, right, and you give a lot of information about yourself, they will be
Yeah.
overwhelmed, right? Because everybody needs an acceptance, right?
Yeah, and they care about themselves too,
Exactly.
you
So
know?
and anybody and everybody who wants to make good friends and they want to have a good influence.
Yeah.
If you want to be a person of influence, that is the book we can recommend.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I will recommend that as well because so I wanted to talk that whole time because I've been in the middle of that book. I just
Oh
finished
yeah, it's
it.
okay. Can you tell what
it's
you like the best?
crazy.
What were the greatest learning from that book for you? Because I read that book like 4 years back.
So I read the book, and the whole time I was thinking about, and I talked to you about this honestly before, but I was thinking about the whole time this janitor that I know, and how he excuse me, my experience with reading that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I would be interested to know.
It honestly it really has changed. I think that's my number one book.
Oh yeah.
But I always think that when I'm reading books because I get so into them. But this one, man, it is crazy because I was thinking about this janitor that I knew, and I was like, holy crap, he is the embodiment of this because he smiles at you, he remembers your name, and he treats you like $1 million. And a lot of that it's a big part of that is treating other people with respect, you know?
Yes.
And it's really changed my life.
Oh yeah.
Really,
I remember when you were giving a presentation on international speech contest, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. I was like too much connected to you.
Yeah.
Personally, when you talked about remembering somebody's name and how important it is for you, right?
Yeah.
That your mom tells you, hey, Jack Russell Fisher, you had to go to school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody, right? Janitor.
Yeah.
Who does not have got like a lot of degrees.
Yeah.
But that he made your day special, right?
Yeah, he
made you feel special. Like he smiles all the time and tells you that he remembers your name, right?
Yeah.
Not your name, the name of 400 people. In
Yeah,
that school,
all
right?
the names of the people in the school, not just me. Yeah.
Exactly. So how it changed your thought? I mean, after reading that book, like, what would be like 5 key learnings, whatever you have from that book? I know that there is a whole lot of learning in that book. Which can change millions of people.
Yeah, I don't know about 5 key learnings, but I'll tell you one thing is that everyone is more of an expert in some area than you are. So give them some respect. Give them some respect around that and be completely interested in that, because that is an area that you're unaware of. So, for example, today I was like, you know what? My wife knows clothes way better than me. Oh yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Before I would be like, I'm just gonna dress myself. This is how I want to look. Oh, yeah. But then I was like, you know what, Bree, can I have some help getting dressed? Like, what do you think I should wear today? Oh yeah. So she was like,
and you look great.
Thank you. Yeah. But that helped me in two things, like area of connecting with my wife, and then also just being able to dress appropriately and just you respect people, and then like all this crazy stuff comes out of them that you never knew because you didn't know either.
Exactly. So I think like trying to make others feel that they can change your life, right? For example, if I understand correctly, that learning that you want to give respect to everybody because you feel that everybody has something to offer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad that you have got a wife, right? Who makes you like really great with your attire. Right?
Yeah, I'm appreciative of my wife as well.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately,
I don't have that privilege now.
Yeah. Man, but it really is a great book, and I think that it's interesting that you'd put that in your top 3. I kept hearing people talk about it, and then I was like, you know what, I gotta read it.
Oh yeah, that was like I think few first 5 books I read. That one, it's very good book.
Yeah,
it can help you with everything, almost everything. How to crack interviews, right?
Yeah.
And as the title suggests, like how to win friends. I mean, that is something. That's really inspiring, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that it's just started to kind of help me with my job too,
right?
Because I think that it gives a lot of helpful advice for managing people in the workforce. Giving them positive reinforcement, right?
Gotcha.
Rather than necessarily just focusing on the things that they're
They're
not
not
doing
right.
well.
Right.
And then when you give them positive reinforcement, those things fix themselves.
Right.
And it's
So-
magic. It's like,
Exactly.
I didn't even have to like yell at you.
Right,
I don't
right.
know.
So you mean kind of giving constructive feedback?
Yeah.
That,
well, yeah, exactly.
Like
so you,
what they are good at and what are the
Yeah.
key areas,
you give them a something where like you actually genuinely think that they did something well. Like I would say, I think you're just very, very good at connecting with people. Like the first time I met you,
Right.
You looked me in the eye.
Yeah.
you had a good conversation with me,
Yeah.
and I was honestly impressed.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You have been so kind,
Yeah.
and I'm loving your acquaintances.
Yeah.
I love your amiable personality,
Yeah.
your public speaking skills,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And your passion towards life, the way you are kind of handling things, doing running,
Yeah.
and then you're like doing podcasts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're good at relationship, right, with your wife. So
Yeah.
there's a whole lot you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And you genuinely respect people, as you said that you have your dad who kind of works in India, right?
Yeah, he goes to India all the time. Yep, and we've got a great relationship. Yeah.
So how do you think that has helped you in understanding like global culture and trying to understand more foreigners? Do you think that helps?
Yeah, for sure. So, I am. I'm somewhat intrigued by the Indian culture.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
because
Oh!
so there's interesting things with Indian philosophy that I like. There's interesting things with my dad goes over there, so I went over there
I see.
for a couple of weeks,
Oh.
and so I was it was a great time. And my wife, so I've got lots of connections in India. So my wife's stepdad, who she was raised with, like her last name is actually Bahugana.
Oh, really?
So she's her skin color is white, like she's white,
Oh.
but she was raised by an Indian
Parents?
one parent, yeah, her
Here
dad
in the country.
in USA, yeah.
Awesome.
So I like I've been interested. You're from India as well.
Yeah, I'm from India.
Yeah, you're from upper
I'm
India?
from northern part of India.
Yeah.
So just 500 miles from New Delhi. It's
Yeah.
a capital city of India, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in a small village in northern part of India,
Mm-hmm.
and then I came here.
I bet you that was an interesting transition and everything. What did your parents think about you coming
My
to?
parents, first of all, they can't believe. I mean, it does not seem surreal to me personally that coming from nowhere. I mean, being a first graduate in a family.
Yeah.
My parents, they have never gone to college,
Yeah.
and all my siblings, they have never been to college. So being in a small village, right, where you don't have ample of opportunities. For example, we are privileged here in this country that we have got electricity, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, I didn't had electricity, and then I didn't had good schools to go. So I felt like I don't know. I was not having anybody in my life to tell like, okay, you should go to college.
Yeah.
So I was never knowing that I will land as a software engineer.
Yeah.
So the journey which started in 1991, it has been a fantastic journey so far. I mean, can you imagine when I was growing up till my high school, I didn't have electricity.
Yeah.
No electricity.
Where'd you go to the bathroom?
That's a good one. There in India, in India you have like hand pumps,
Yeah.
kind of, so you don't need electricity.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have wells where you can get water from.
Uh-huh.
You have rivers.
Yeah.
So that's a kind of different kind of life.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I mean, if you go to a countryside,
Yeah.
but I never thought, that I would be coming to America one day. I mean, I was never knowing I will land I will land up as a software engineer
Yeah.
in my career. But the one thing which always helps me is like when my dad used to ask me, what do you want to do with your life? You know? And then I'm like, I have no idea, but I want to be a big personality. And today also, if he asks, I'm like, Dad, I want to be a big personality. So, can you imagine, like, when nobody has gone to college
Yeah.
in your family or in your neighborhood, right? I'm the first engineer, software engineer from a small village,
Yeah.
and being in America. So that was a different transition. You know, like I was not knowing which schools to go, what course to take in engineering. I took all my decisions with myself,
Yeah.
and the day I landed in software industry in India, that was my first campus interview, and I remember that night, like I was literally crying. I like again, I mean that were like tears of happiness.
Yeah.
That when I told my dad that I got placed in a renowned company, TCS, they started crying too. I mean, they cannot believe that their son is a software engineer.
Mhm.
So they took a lot of pride. That does not seem real at that time, but that gave me foundation.
Yeah.
And after that, I never looked back.
Mhm.
After 2012, I think I never looked back, and then I'm chasing my dreams each and every day.
Yeah. That's really must be a powerful memory of that phone call with your dad and being all proud of you. And
Exactly. I mean, when I remember when I had a nice interview. That was my first interview of life, and I was placed as a software engineer. And at 12 a.m., I called my dad, and he was not knowing that I was going through placement, campus placement. And I told my dad that I got a job.
yeah.
He told like I never thought that like my son would be a software engineer.
Yeah.
So we are really proud on you. And then I told my dad, Dad, remember this is just a beginning.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest day in my life personally.
Yeah.
The day I landed here in this country.
Yeah.
That was also a day which I cherish a lot, and my family too.
Mhm.
And then again, I think I feel I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I met beautiful people in this country, like you, or everybody who has appreciated
Yeah.
my work, and who has always encouraged me to follow my dreams.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just an amazing story, man.
So
And thank you for
I know
sharing.
I know that you also had like I mean you also had struggles in the country, right? Everybody has a story, right? To like whom you can share, right? I mean because everybody has a different struggle, right?
Yeah, I just like I don't know if I can compare
I know, I
anything
know.
that I've done to coming up from nothing in India, man. I mean I've had my share of struggles, but
Exactly.
and
So if you
I
can, if you
I
can,
had
like,
I had a different
right, if you can share some with us, probably then that helps us in understanding
Yeah.
like how you got through that phase.
Yeah.
Because everybody has like hardship, right? As you were saying, when we were coming here, you were telling something about your personal life.
Yeah.
When you had like tough decisions.
Yeah, so I had a tough decision because my personal life. What happened was I got my wife pregnant before we were married, right?
Oh yeah.
And so then just moving through that 0 to 60 relationship of having nothing to having a kid.
Right.
It was, it's challenging for a 22-year-old kid. You know?
It is, yeah, right.
I was very lucky that my parents supported it, and my wife's parents supported our marriage, and then the kid, and so I was just also, how your dad seems to be supportive.
Exactly.
I was very happy and lucky that my dad was supportive as well, and I think that was, I would say that was key along with both of all the family, support to get through there.
Oh yeah, so nice.
Yeah.
Like I cannot imagine, at the age of 22, right?
Yeah.
And when you know that, like your wife is pregnant.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of.
And we're still together 6 years.
that makes you different, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? And think about this. Like that's the biggest challenge. I would think. How you deal with like it. I mean, how you deal with failure. I mean, we
Yeah,
talk a lot
no,
about
I
like
mean-
struggles, right? About success. How you deal with failures.
Oh man,
Because for a lot of young people like us
Yeah.
in this country or
Yeah.
everywhere on this planet,
Yeah.
they want to do great things in their life, right? But they get setbacks in life probably, right?
It's so
And
tough.
as you said that the ability to bounce back from the setback,
Yeah.
that makes champion, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, how you deal with failures? I mean, if you can talk about like
yeah,
that,
that's a good question.
right?
During the actual failure, I get really frustrated and really in the zone. So I'm not the best person to talk about how I deal with it in the moment. However, what I've been realizing lately is that if I look back at it and say, how can I learn from it?
Kind of learning from
Learning from kind of looking back and being like, how can I learn from what I did wrong there?
Oh yeah.
Not blaming anybody else for things, and then just kind of being like, how can I, what can I do differently next time, and then try to do that. How about you? Do you have
I think
specific?
let me interrupt you here. I think this is would be one of the priceless, $1 million advice, right? Taking the responsibility of
Yeah.
life, right? Not blaming somebody that this happened because of this. This
Yeah.
happened because of this, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, before I tell you how I deal with failures, you kind of do a lot of introspection. I would say, like, kind of reflect back.
Yeah, I
and,
try to do that as much as I can.
right, and see and how I could have done differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
That helps you.
Yeah, that helps me a lot.
Okay.
Do you do that as well?
Yes, I do that as well. I mean, as we know, right? Failures are harsh,
Yeah.
right? It's harsh reality to
Yeah.
accept that you have failed,
Yeah.
right? Then when I get failures, and I'm getting better at it because and I feel that failures are sometimes tough, but that you need failures in your life if you want to reach greater heights.
Yeah.
Whenever I fail on something, I just ask myself a lot of questions, kind of self-talk,
Yeah.
right? Whether do I have skills, what is required to succeed in this field?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do a lot of writing for that.
Okay, so you have like a journal or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I do is whenever I have failure or disappointment, I take a notebook and a red pen, yellow colored notepad and red pen, and there's a philosophy behind it. I can tell you.
Yeah.
And then I take that. I go to Starbucks or Panera Bread, wherever it's a kind of cool and calm place, where you are in the moment, kind of you are like connected to yourself. And then I keep writing about something which has not, has gone the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I try to like write, until I'm done with all my thoughts. So I kind of pour my heart on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
That really helps me.
Yeah.
I just write down, okay, what I did.
Do you do that with all areas of your life, or specific to work? Do you do that specific to work at all, or just all areas in general?
I do almost all areas for that.
Okay.
Every Sunday,
Every Sunday, okay.
from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
You'll be seeing me at Starbucks. I buy one coffee.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to take their space for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
I buy one coffee or a milkshake or something.
Yeah.
And then I carry a yellow color notebook and a red pen.
Yeah.
And then I just set my timer for 30 minutes. 30 minutes I write positive things I'm doing in my life.
Yeah.
I keep writing. Once 30 minutes are over, right, then I take another piece of paper and keep writing the negative thoughts negative things I'm thinking about, I keep writing. I don't want to keep anything in my head.
Yeah.
Once I'm done with it, I take that negative piece of paper and I kind of tear down, small pieces, so but nobody can read it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I put that in the dustbin or a trash. I know like it sounds like a little overwhelming, but it really helps
I think
me.
that for just kind of thinking about it, I would think that helps you work through the problem as well.
Exactly, as you said, like kind of understanding why I failed, right? I mean, why I failed, or whether I'm thinking that I have failed, but you have not actually, right? In some areas, right? I mean, you think that you have failed, but
Yeah.
that does not mean that you have failed. You have not tried it.
Maybe you, yeah.
Try. I mean, I when I talk to myself, I get a different answer.
Yeah.
That I should be trying in this way. I should be trying in this way. So that kind of helps me in dealing with my failures.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm doing kind of introspection in a different way. Rather than talking to yourself, and as you said, like not blaming others. I mean,
Yeah.
that is something everybody should look forward to, right? When you blame or when you try to complain, right, you're not solving the problem.
No.
Right?
You're not. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
100% there with you, man. So, Ajay Kumar, I think you've been a great guest, man. I really appreciate having you on. Do you have anything any kind of last things that you want to say to anybody?
All right. Thank you, first of all, for having me here.
Yeah.
It has been just a pleasure.
Yeah.
And to all our viewers, I would like to give just one message: never be a quitter. Quitters never win. Be always a winner. Try to learn from your mistakes, and life is always beautiful. Try to appreciate the things you do, and sure, you are born to win, so you will be a winner. That is something, the last comment I would be having on your show. And thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you as well, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It has been a privilege.
You too. See ya.
See you.